to get an airstrike over on that opposite side.
What's up everyone, Tom from Airsoft headquarters here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about what I would consider to be a very important topic. Probably one of the first things, honestly, you probably should be looking at when it comes to Airsoft, but quite honestly it becomes a secondary, if not a tertiary, if not probably the 10th to 12th thing that you will actually look for when building up your Airsoft needs and necessities kit, essentially. So, if anyone is questioning the legitimacy of what I bring to the table here, I have been playing Airsoft for a good 10 years at this point. And in my 10 years, I have acquired from many brands, multiple types of pant and pant camo and pant coloration, and have utilized, pants that are no longer, in my collection because I've either grown out of them, ripped them and torn them to complete shreds, or just they just don't fit my needs and necessities at the time anymore. So we're gonna go over pants, pant brands, pant options, so on, so forth, stuff like that. But before we get too deep into it, I do need to give a special thank you to Tru-Spec. They're one of the only ones, them and Midwest Industries, that are regularly helping me out as far as giving me products and assistance, things that I may have a little hard time paying for as of right now with current inflation and trying to live off of an Airsoft salary. A little bit harder to do at this time. So really appreciate those guys. I am going to bring the the Tru-Spec, because Midwest Industries doesn't make pants. I am gonna bring up the Tru-Spec pants. I've had them more recently added to my collection, but there's still something that I'm utilizing much more often within recently that I've been wearing to Airsoft games and Airsoft fields, and something that honestly should be brought to your attention. One of the first things, probably the type of lower pant clothing that I wear the most often throughout my day without my weekly is going to be this little guy right here. And these are referred to as Silkies or Ranger panties. They are extremely breathable. I will use them if I am doing leg day at the gym or if I am wearing them to bed. Super comfortable, super breathable, especially when it comes to summer nights. These are excellent as far as nighttime wear. I love wearing them when I'm doing leg days, really get those glutes stretched out. Following that immediately, primarily because I can't wait to shit on them, is these Emerson pants. I mean, these are the denim skinny jeans. I bought these when they were like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point. They were on sale and I'm like, you know what? Denims with the M81 lowers, and they're a little bit tighter, which was okay. But I didn't really understand just how freaking skinny these pants are. I mean, I would have a hard time squeezing into them right now. These are so skinny. I'm stretching them out to the fullest. Lucas from T-Rex Arm, little skinny jean wearing dude, would have a hard time squeezing into these right here. I mean, these are as tight as you can get. I mean, they have some cool features, but if they're so tight that if you can get into them, you can't even bend your knees, these are terrible. And I think at the time that I purchased these were like 80, 90 bucks. These are just pieces of shit. I'm gonna throw them away at this point because I've held on to them for too long in order to bring them up in a video and be like, these are pieces of shit. Engagement question for you guys. If you guys had to develop a tactical combat type of pant, because I had this question prompted to me very recently and I'm still kind of stuck on it as far as what my ideal tactical pant would entail. I'm still really stuck on it. But what would you guys include? I mean, I think this is a long spiel for another time, but down in the comment section, what type of features would you prefer to see on a pair of tactical pants? Let me know down below. Recently, it's been brought up to my attention within actually more than one conversation. What kind of is the best brand of pant, the best style of pant to go with when it comes to tactical use within Airsoft. Obviously with Airsofters, we all want to be a little bit cheaper. I mean, one of the ones that everyone kind of points to, it's one of the most celebrated and kind of the most talked about even amongst the real firearm guys, the real military guys, is Crye Precision. And I have a pair of Crye pants here. They're the Gen 2 BDU field pant type of pant, so they're not the cool knee cut type, but they were still 140 bucks. Can you get Crye pants for much cheaper? Yes. Can you get way better Crye pants for way more money? Sure, yeah. But I also don't want to spend $300 if I'm only going airsofting every other weekend as a regular airsofter, right? I kind of do airsoft a little more often, but still $300 for a pair of pants is a little bit harder to chew on. So, introducing the Tru-Spec type of pants. Now again, these have been more recently added to my collection, but I do have the Pro Flexes here, and I have had these in 2 different colorations. Now about the Tru-Spec pants specifically, these are made from a 65-35 polyester and cotton ripstop, and when doing my research with these guys, these are available in the most dynamic sizes possible. I mean, you go from the tightest waist, which I think is a 28, up to a 56-inch waist. And then from there, you go from a 30-inch inseam to completely unhemmed, which is significantly longer. So you can cut it, like if you're a super skinny dude and you need really long pants, well, the Tru-Spec stuff is going to be available for you. If for whatever reason you have like a freaky size, the Tru-Spec stuff is going to be able to fit. Some of the things that are brought up as far as features with the Tru-Spec pants specifically is the 7 total belt loops, the Comfort Fit Slider waistband for CCW or large water intakes. Now about the CCW stuff, it actually does work pretty well for that. For guys that are running like a double stack, or myself during summer, a single stack, these are gonna have enough adjustments to them to where you can slide that in or out. As far as the large water intakes that I mentioned, on a hot summer day when it comes to airsofting, a lot of guys will wear the full pants and the plate carriers and the full length tactical combat shirts, and they run around in direct sunlight with all this extra weight on them, and they get dehydrated, have a heat stroke or heat exhaustion or something like that. And then when they get to the car during break, they have these liter water bottles and they suck down 3 or 4 of them. Well, that's a lot of water that gets stored right around here, right around that waistband. So having that extra amount of, stretch to accommodate that water, while not healthy at all, it is nice to know that, that water isn't going to, cause too much more pain. You may vomit it up or you may piss it up violently, but it is nice to have a pair of pants that will accept that. I have a weird thing where I like and love the pocket type here. The front pockets, I actually really like a lot. They're very well built, they're relatively thin, and they have these really cool back pockets. So on the back right, they have a zipper pocket. On the back left, they have a open top for your wallet, spare cash, whatever have you. What I like the most is that they do have a flip over, and compared to like the Crye or the LBXs, the flap here, they will close off one end. So it's just enough to where if you are upside down and the open pocket right here, that flap isn't going to open enough in order to have everything spill out. I like that about the pockets that Tru-Spec is producing. Their cargo pockets, I have a weird love-hate relationship. What they have on the, the innermost pocket here, I mean, they do have the knife pocket or the pistol mag pocket here, if you're doing like the lower profile tactical stuff, whatever have you. They do have a AR mag pouch, on the very interior here, and then they have the actual cargo pocket itself. And they do have the gusset here, which is Velcro open or close, so it can Velcro itself close for that lower profile, lower profile. So smart. And then they do have the Velcro to go right over that. So everything is like inline, low profile. And then they can pop it open. The gusset pocket opens up, and then you can start to throw a bunch of stuff in here. Now, if you don't wear any type of dump pouch and you just use your cargo pockets as the dump pouch, if you run gas mags like myself and you try to throw your gas mags into your cargo pocket, the movement is a little bit more obstructed, because as you slide the magazines in, they get caught on these two interior, inserts for more magazines. So they're conveniently sized for more magazines to sit in cover here, so you could carry multiple AR magazines. It gets a little bit heavy when it's real loaded, either with gas magazines or real rifle magazines, I've noticed, and it jostles around a lot, especially if you're in a full sprint. If you're at a controlled pace or you're just walking, it's not too much of an issue, but once you actually start to add some hustle, everything starts shifting around in there. So keep that in mind. And they do have a smaller exterior pocket, smokes, snacks, a large ace bandages, whatever have you. And then they do have, on the Pro Flexes specifically, a elastic, I think this is an elastic material, but it's incredibly breathable right here, right above the top of the ass, so it helps breathe. You don't get that swamp ass. They have it right above the knees, right underneath the thighs. That's also another point where it's really nice to get that breeze moving throughout your entire ball area. And speaking of the ball area, they do have a little bit of stuff right here, again, just to keep that swamp ass to a bare minimum. So incredibly breathable. I did wear these when I was working out, doing squats, leg kicks on a punching bag, and I got them to like a full drenched state. But I can say that these guys did not get so heat contained that my balls were drowning. So I do like that they were extremely breathable. I also like the fact that they have a zipper and a clasp up here. They still have a proper button style here, but it's, for a regular pant, they're just doing the regular buckle and zip like that. Prefer that over the stupid Cryes, which Cryes are still utilizing the 3 or 4 buttons. Some are 4 buttons. Mine apparently are 3 buttons. When you gotta piss bad and these buttons are in the way, oh, I hate when buttons get in the way of my pissing habits. So now that I have it out, let's talk about the Crye pants. These guys are, like I was saying, the Field Gen 2 BDU type of Crye pant. The Crye material is 50/50 nylon cotton. When I wear these, I like wearing the Cryes when it's cold out, when it's around wintertime here in Wisconsin. You still need to have like longer leggings when you go to bed. I'm a little bit weird when I prefer having like tactical stuff when I go to bed. So I'll wear the Cryes if like my sweatpants are in the wash or anything like that. So I'll just wear these to bed if I happen to be wearing them. Because I'm lazy, I'm single. They're very baggy, which means they're comfortable as like a homey type of pant, but they're not super great for like the tactical use. The back pockets here, because I happen to have the back pockets open, are Velcro. And if you have worn Velcro stuff long enough, you know that once that gets worn out, they're not holding shit in anymore. And they don't have any type of flap over, so good luck keeping your shit in. Thankfully, they're really deep pockets, so it's a lesser chance that something were to fall out. These guys are running 8, 6. So we got 4, 5, and 6 belt loops, which is just fine and dandy. I mean, the pockets are deep, normal pockets. Hate the buttons on the front. No breathing vents here at all. They do have a front pocket, which is pretty handy if you are someone like myself. And I actually will keep my wallet most times up here in my front pocket here. A little bit easier to access, and it's something that I can just, I got it. Typical BDU type pants, very fat and deep cargo pockets that are, again, side gusseted, but they don't have the Velcro to keep the gussets closed. So you do have to kind of like tap and fold it down in order to get everything in that lower profile state. They do have the center gusset here, so if you do put your gloves, a hat, a field cap, whatever have you, balaclava, your mask if you're in a state like that, I actually can't call it that, you know, the flu. If you got your flu mask, that'll go in there. It does have more reinforcement around the ball, crotch area. So if you're someone that does more splitty type stuff, it's not gonna blow up on you nearly as much. They do have the cargo pockets, like the mini cargo pockets around the ankle for maps, snacks. I know that most military guys will put their smokes down here. And of course the bungees around the bottom of the boots to keep everything super tight. Despite the fact you've got like ponchos around your thighs because they're so massive. And I get that they got to deal with multiple sizes of guys, so they can't be super individualistic when it comes to mass producing clothing, but that's too much room, in my opinion. So some other things about Crye, like I was saying, $140 in a used condition. Compared to the Tru-Spec, which I didn't even bring up when I was talking about them, the Tru-Specs are only about $65 to $80. So MAP pricing, well, excuse me, MSRP is gonna be around $80. Most often, Tru-Spec or other stores are gonna put those pants on sale, same thing with their combat tops. So there are sites where I have found those ProFlexes as cheap as $65. At that price point, even at $80, I would purchase 2 ProFlexes from Tru-Spec, which is gonna put me at 160 bucks, but I'm only spending $20 more on 2 sets of pants that are more tactical and better fitted compared to the Crye stuff. That's my 2 cents. So I would rather go with the ProFlexes over the Crye secondhand stuff any day of the week. Now, let's talk about LBX. I have some bad news about LBX, and I actually have 2 types of LBX pants here. I have the M81s and I have the Cayman camo pattern here. And I have some other types of brands that I can go over real quickly. The bad news with LBX is, as of right now, as of June 2nd, 2022, LBX has notified me that they are no longer going to continue carrying their tactical clothing lineup as of right now. They have sold their remaining tactical clothing inventory to Evike. LBX did say in the next 6 months around Christmas time, they will bring it back open to discussion with the company and see like, hey, do we need to reopen our LBX clothing line? Is that something that is viable as an option? They're still going to continue to manufacture the plate carriers, chest rigs, pouches, stuff like that. But the clothing here has taken kind of a backseat, if you will. So let's talk about them. Unfortunately, because a lot of people are going to maybe have a hard time getting any of these anymore. So these are extremely similar as far as size and fitment to the Crye. I will say that the waist here is going to sit a little bit higher, and thus it is going to be a little bit more truer to size, with the intention that the pant is going to sit a little bit higher on the waist instead of down around the ass, just because they have a little bit more length to them. They are going to have 5 belt loops, the least number of the ones that we have here for guys that are running belt setup, stuff like that. It's pretty critical information to know. With the LBXs here, they do have significantly more length to those belt loops. So it is 5 individual loops, but it has more surface area so that belt isn't going to stretch and warp while you're wearing it throughout the day. The belt setups that I have worn on this have gone over pretty well. The front thigh pocket, which would be right here. I did legs the other day, so that hurt. Very deep and very large openings to the front pocket here. I do like the fact on LBXs that they do have a little bit of extra reinforcement for the guys that are running pocket knives, that they slide in right there. That is a point if you wear jeans and other clothing often enough, that the clip of your knife is going to sit right here. It's going to wear in over time, and that's a very common ripping point amongst jeans. Kind of like so. Like that, like this. I don't really like the wide mouth. LBX is using the buckle and zipper. Perfect. The ass area is very reinforced, right around the ass here. Ideal for guys that are doing, again, those, you know, for all the guys that are super flexible and doing them splits, very flexible. The cargo pockets, like all the other cargo pockets, with LBXs, they are a little bit smaller. They are just doing a center gusset, but the fact that they still have the cargo pockets here, pretty normal. I have cargo pockets on my Wolf Gray or my Ranger Greens. I think it's my Ranger Greens, where the Velcro here is getting to the point where it's starting to rip away. And that's something that occurs just naturally over time with all Velcro. You know, you use those cargo pockets enough, you keep ripping them open and putting stuff inside of here, that Velcro is just naturally going to wear in, like anything else. So keep that in mind. The gusset here, I think, is more of a, just more of a look. In my experience, that gusset doesn't really have a whole lot of function to it. The idea of the gusset is it's supposed to have enough surface area here while keeping the mouth of the pocket tighter. So when you add more stuff, it will create a funnel effect, retaining the stuff a little bit better in the pocket. This kind of is not a super great feature on the LBXs here as far as retaining those gloves or those caps or anything else like that. Keep that in mind. Don't use them as cargo pockets for putting your magazines or anything, because they will fall out. They do have on the M81s here and on the Caymans and on the the multi-cams, I think. I'll have to fact check myself. They do have nylon reinforcement here on the knees. They do open up similar to the Tru-Specs in order to slide a foam knee pad on the inside here. So even if you don't run knee pads, if you do decide to take a knee, that extra nylon is going to help prevent those pebbles from getting onto the kneecap and creating a whole lot of pain and issues. So I like that about the LBXs here. The ankle cargo pocket, this one is very hard to slide your smokes inside of. So this would be for snacks, glow sticks, shit like that. And other than that, that's kind of it with the LBXs. They are a little bit baggier. These are ones that I do like to wear to bed during the winter time. They just wear in super nice. They wear in super smooth. This is a pair that I've had a little bit longer in my collection, so they do wear in very soft and very smooth. Like them, love them. But again, with those LBXs, I don't use them a whole lot in tactical environments. I do wear them more for around the house, light yard work, or around work here. Not a whole lot of tactical use. I have here a pair of BDUs. These are Mil-Spec BDUs from Frog Gear. Frog Flame Resistant Organizational Gear. The FR Combat Fire Simple Trouser, whatever. They're surplus BDU pants in AOR 2. So this is something that I have gotten for you know, just basic camo patterns. If we go to events that we are going to be using a more specific camo pattern in order to have a very specific rule, BDU pants are a great option just for something quick, cheap, easy to get access and a hold of. I mean, they're just Mil-Spec pants. They are going to be significantly baggier, but again, I'm not wearing these to photo shoots. Ample amount of pockets or belt loops. They have the buttons, and I hate the buttons, but these cost me like 20 bucks on eBay. So I can't bitch too much about it. I mean, just pockets on the front pockets, just to hold shit. Not that I put a whole lot of shit inside there. Back pockets with the buttons. I don't put a whole lot of shit in the back pockets because I don't trust the goddamn buttons. The crotch area is reinforced, very similarly to the LBXs and the Crye style. The cargo pockets, there's very little that I'll put inside of here. They're very deep. They have gussets, but the gussets are so thin that why do you bother putting a gusset on here? I do like the fact that there is bungee around the very top of the mouth here. So if you do put anything inside of here, it retains it a little bit better than the other pants here, but I wouldn't bet on those cargo pockets holding anything else other than your hopes and dreams. And even they will fall out. We have no reinforcement and no option for inserts for knee pad shit. We do have a little ankle pocket down here, which more buttons. And then these were very long on me, so I did a kind of okay job hemming them up. I do need to go and have a second pass a little bit higher up, or just simply cut the bottom part here away. These were so long for like Mil-Spec pants, when I put them on up here around my waist, the bottom of the pant would go underneath my pant or underneath my shoes. Real embarrassing. So I really don't like that, but again, they're cheap. They're easy to get a hold of. I mean, really, I picked two up for 40 bucks just because, you know, two is one is none. And I've only used them for 2 events. So if you need a special camo pattern, military surplus is the way to go, and a unique one at that. The next set of pants that I have recently picked up for myself because my other pair of these guys have worn out on me is 511s. Really good things I hear from 511. They're a really good outdoor type of pant for guys that are doing landscaping, shingling, rooftop stuff, construction. A lot of times guys will pick up 511s just because they happen to match whatever they need. Zipper, love zippers, make it so much easy to piss, and the buckles, but you still have an option of a button on the inside here. They do have the deeper front pockets with a very specific slot for that pocket knife. Really like that. Front pocket for, I mean, I've seen guys put pistol mags inside of here. I've seen them put tools, pens, Sharpies. I've seen guys that are doing woodworking that will put smaller rulers inside of here, like multiple uses for this pocket right here. Featuring the significantly, the wider, not significantly wider, they're not nearly as wide as the LBX, but they're still wider for easier and, you know, more surface area for belt mounting stuff. Plenty of belt, you know, loops back here. Super easy to use. We have cargo pockets, center gusseted. I mean, I have no like strong opinions about the cargo pockets. I don't really use them on my like day-to-day stuff. Not a whole lot. I think for most dads, they do pretty well as far as holding kids' binkies, small bottles, little nappy nap, as far as those little blankets that kids love to have. They can't live without. The back pockets here, pretty strong Velcro. Mine have not worn in at all. And they do have a little bit stronger of a flap. So again, a little bit harder for stuff to fall out like that on the 511s here. No options for knee pads because the 511s are a little bit more lower profile, tactical type of pant. You know, these are not something you would wear undercover. These stand out just a little too much. And nothing as far as ankle pockets, which I'm fine with because I don't smoke. Mom, I promise I don't smoke. I don't care about smokes pockets. And then the final pair of pants that I have is a pair of Emerson blue labels. Now, price of the 511s. I think I paid like 110 bucks from a local Sherpers. I think that's a little bit more than what those typically go for, but you know, it's a Sherpers, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. So, Emerson 511s. These guys, if my knowledge, because I got these like 2 or 3 years ago. These guys, again, I don't wear very often. They're tactical, but they're like too tactical, and they're multicam black. There's too many like hardcore cool guys that like, multicam black. They do feature a, let's talk about the front. Velcros instead of a buckle or a button paired with a zipper. This, I don't like. I don't like Velcro. It makes sense, but when I've worn these guys, the interior lip here has made a habit of folding inwards. And again, these sit a little bit higher on the waist. And so that usually rides over my compression shorts and they just rub up against my lower belly and it just creates a rash. And I just don't like that at all. On the very back, with all of the belt loops, which these are standard belt loops. They're not like sized thicker, or there's not any more on here. So it's a little bit more difficult and frustrating to run belt setups on these guys, in my personal opinion. But they do have a adjustable waistband, so you can run them a little tighter, a little bit looser. I like these, and the other reason with Tru-Specs is if you're an airsofter that doesn't airsoft very often, you have your one set of uniforms, and maybe you're in high school, you're in that growing stage, or maybe you're working an office job and you're kind of in between gaining weight and losing weight, seasonal shifts, I get it with diets. So the Tru-Specs and these guys do make that a little bit easier with the flexible inseam, and they're kind of a little more elastic. So pretty cool feature. The ass area, this is not a nylon. It's more of like a, I don't want to say it's a leather, but it's more leather-y. They're not, I don't think they're breathable because it's much harder to see. Oh, I can see a little bit of light. So let's talk about pockets. Front pockets, standard front pockets. Nothing really special about these guys. They're not too deep, they're not too short. They do have a dedicated knife pocket or pistol mag pocket. The back ass pockets do have zippers. Pretty awesome for guys that want to carry their wallets or their phone on their person while they're airsofting. In my case, with a wallet in the back pocket, you have so much ass sweat that if you have any type of cash in there, it does get really soaked, and that's ass sweat, and your bills are soaked with ass water, and that's disgusting. Please don't hand your airsoft, field staff ass water money. Little too nasty. Public service announcement. Cargo pockets, they're standard cargo pockets. They're Velcro. You can see that my Velcro is still a little bit nicer. I haven't worn them in a whole lot. They do have the side gussets and the center gussets. And again, the center gussets kind of do just a little bit. There is a weird little elastic thing on the inside of the center pocket here. I have to assume that this is designed for AR type magazines, just helping kind of retain them in place. But as you can see, they kind of keep them there, but not really well. So keep that in mind if you were looking at picking a pair of these up. Front pockets, which would be on the front of the thighs, that's where I put my wallet. In my experience with the Emerson Blue Label and the Emerson basic tactical pants here, I've had a very hard time trying to get those knee pads to fit just right and not either fall out or get all crooked on me. So I just don't do knee pads at all. It's cool that they're there, uber tactical, but they don't work that well, in my experience at least. So, flip them around. Extra protection, extra little stuff right here for the ass. But I don't know as far as actual stretchiness of these for guys that do splits. My basic pair of the Emerson pants, the ass did rip wide open. I mean, just completely busted open on me. And that was the day that I was freeballing in these guys. So not super great when pants that are supposed to have reinforcement actually don't have the reinforcement and just, hey Dylan, here's your balls. Great. What I do like about the Emerson pants here is that they do have a little adjustment right here. On a pair of my LBX pants, which hindsight should have brought, I did have a seamstress add a little bit of Velcro to the very back of the knee here, because that's where they would be positioned. Let me pull this around here. And so that will actually, one, position the knee pads further to the right of the knee, a little bit more splayed outward, but you don't have a whole lot of adjustments as far as inwards, like if you need to adjust that knee pad in. I have found that this will actually make the entire below the knee section a little bit tighter, so you have a little bit more lower profile of a look, which looks super tactical because everything's like kind of tight where it needs to be tight, but also loose and baggy where it needs to be loose and baggy. So cool, but also like, it's not like a super necessary add-on. And then we have down here, the ankle pocket, smokes, snacks, whatever have you. And then the very bottom here, if you're wearing boots, then this would be, you know, that extra tightness around the head of the boot to make everything a little bit tighter, a little bit more tactical looking, really give you that tactical aesthetic. They do have that kind of leather-esque material here for a little bit more breathability, but again, kind of question the breathability of these guys, just because my balls have drowned themselves in the ball sweat. So that's what I have for these guys. These guys I've picked up for tactical stuff. I'm wearing them way, way less. So of the Emerson Blue Label, the 511s, the BDUs, the LBXs, the Cryes, the Tru-Specs, and the Ranger panties. What am I using the most for airsoft? I'm actually using the Tru-Specs the most for airsofting, because they're kind of like the best bang for your buck at that $65 to $80 price point. And then if I'm feeling really lazy, I'll just throw on my 511s, because they're like tactical. They breathe really good. They're still at $100 plus in my case locally, so it's a little bit harder to like justify having multiple of them. But I do wear them work and airsofting. And then if I need to do events, you know, these are the guys that we've worn most often to events, because we're doing like green camo stuff for Mil-Surp stuff, or I'll wear the LBX M81s if we're doing like M81 green type stuff. Wisconsin guys always go green, so green represent, gang. So that is what I have as far as pants. I have gone on and prattled long enough. I have talked the crap out of pants. So those are the ones that I like. These are the four that I go with the most. I'm talking 511 Tru-Spec, LBX, and military surplus. That is what we have. What we are actively carrying is going to be the LBX, whatever we have left of the LBX clothing, we do have available. We are bringing in more and newer Tru-Spec stuff. In the next couple of weeks, we should see a newer type of pant from Tru-Spec. We did get an example from SHOT Show. We were kind of like, hey, here's like the prototype pre-production of the DA pant. So we're gonna get some of those in. I'm gonna have more content related around the Proflexes that I have here. We also have videos coming out on the agilities, the vectors, the expeditions, and when we get the DAs, we'll talk about the DAs as well. But that is what I have for you guys. Again, in the comment section, please let me know with different types of pants, what would you include on your tactical pants? In my personal opinion, the Tru-Spec is going to be one of the better ones as far as directly off the shelf. That's going to give you the best bang for your buck as far as features at the price point and comfortability. But again, everyone's gonna have their own personal preferences. Some people are gonna prefer the aesthetic and the feel of the BDU stuff that we have here. Some people are gonna have like that weird aesthetic vibe of just the lower profile incognito 511s. And some dudes are just like, no matter what, I gotta look the super cool guy, even if it causes me a bunch of pain and my balls just drown in sweat, gotta have it. So, what would you have on your preferred tactical pant set? Let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to read them, because I'm still thinking, what would I have on my tactical pant? I still gotta think about it. So, if you do have any further questions, let me know down in the comment section below. It's kind of a weird diversion away from the gun related stuff, but this is going to be something that YouTube is going to allow me to monetize, as little monetization as we get already. This is gonna just help me out, help you guys out. So that's all I have for you guys. So you guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.